The bells of Aramor rang for 7 days. The sound carried across fields and rivers, through burned granaries and empty streets, tolling for a peace the city did not believe in. In the palace courtyard, Queen Catherine stood beneath the gray sky as the proclamation was read aloud. Her voice, meant to tremble with grief, never faltered. "By royal decree," the herald called, "Her Highness Princess Elena of Aramor perished in the floods at Silver Crossing. The crown mourns her noble sacrifice in the service of unity." Unity. The word slid through the crowd like smoke through broken glass. The people bowed their heads, but none wept aloud. They had learned what tears could cost. At the front of the crowd, Lord Archer stood with his helm under one arm, face unreadable. When the ceremony ended, he caught the Queen's eye. For the first time, he didn't bow. Catherine turned away quickly. "Send word to the border patrol," she murmured to a page. "No remnants of her camp are to remain. Burn what the river spared." The boy bowed and ran. Catherine's hand shook slightly as she reached for her gloves. "Majesty," Archer said quietly, "the river doesn't always keep secrets." She forced a smile. "Then we shall teach it silence." 2 days' ride north, under the shadow of pine and storm, the river whispered the truth it had refused to bury. Elena lay wrapped in a fisherman's blanket beside a small fire, her body weak, her voice a rasp. The girl who'd saved her, barefoot, no older than 14, sat nearby, plucking a tune on a reed flute. "You were dead," the girl said matter-of-factly. "The river told us." Then the river lied. The girl grinned, a gap in her teeth. "It lies a lot, mostly to kings." Elena managed a faint smile. "Then I suppose I owe it thanks." The girl passed her a crust of bread. "You're the Queen's sister, aren't you?" Elena's hand froze. "What makes you think that?" The girl shrugged. "You talk like someone who's had to pretend to be brave too long." Elena took the bread. "If I am," she said softly, "you mustn't tell anyone." The girl looked at her with wide, unblinking eyes. "They already know." Outside the hut, voices drifted. Men returning from fishing, a wagon creaking on the road. Among them, a man in a weather-beaten cloak lingered by the door. When the others left, he stepped inside, bowing his head slightly. "You ride hard, Your Highness," he said. Elena looked up sharply. "Rowan," he smiled, tired but alive. "I thought I'd lost you." "You almost did," she whispered. "The river nearly finished what my sister started." He knelt beside her. "Then let it start something else. The border's not far. The people there, they're ready to listen." "To what?" "To the truth." Elena looked at the fire. Its light trembled on her face, half hope, half ghost. "Truth got us here, Rowan. My sister wears it like armor. I wear it like chains." "Then let the chains become weapons." Back in Aramor, Catherine couldn't sleep. Every knock of rain on the window sounded like a voice whispering her name. She sat at her desk, ink-stained fingers hovering over parchment. She had written and rewritten the same letter all night, to the Duke of Harrow, confirming her sister's death, requesting silence from the northern lords. But her quill paused halfway through the final sentence. The river was merciful. She stared at the words. Then she dipped the quill again, crossing out merciful and writing thorough. Behind her, the chapel bell rang once. She turned. The door was open, though she hadn't heard it move. "Who's there?" No answer. Then a whisper, her own voice, echoed back to her from the hall. The river lied. Her breath hitched. She rose, crossing to the door. Only the wind moved in the corridor. Still, something in her chest twisted, sharp and cold. "Archer," she called. He appeared moments later, hair damp from the rain. "Majesty?" She met his gaze. "Double the patrols. I want eyes on the riverbanks." "You believe she lived?" Catherine looked past him into the dark. "I believe the dead shouldn't haunt me if they stay dead." At dawn, on the northern border, Elena stood at the edge of the same river that had tried to claim her. The current hissed, gray and endless. She dropped a stone into it, watching the ripples spread. "Catherine," she whispered, "you taught me how to survive your court. Now I'll teach you how to lose one." Rowan approached, holding a small leather pouch. Inside were coins stamped with the royal seal, the same ones being smuggled north by traders who'd stopped believing in the Queen's mercy. "Word spreads," he said. "They call you the river's heir." Elena smiled faintly. "Then let the river keep lying for a little while longer." She turned toward the forest, the faint glow of dawn outlining her like a promise. "The crown took everything," she said quietly, "but it forgot something important." "What's that?" Rowan asked. Elena looked back at the water. "You can't rule what you can't kill." In the palace, Catherine's mirror cracked overnight, a single hairline fracture running through the reflection of her crown. And the river, still swollen from rain, kept whispering the same secret all through the valley. One sister is dead. The other is coming back. Winter came too early that year. The fields around Aramore froze before harvest, and the air smelled of iron and wood smoke. The people said the river had stolen the sun because the crown had stolen too many hearts. In the north, beneath the pines, fires burned in secret camps. Men and women who had once sworn oaths to Catherine now whispered new ones in the dark. They called themselves the River Guard, farmers, deserters, and a handful of soldiers who had seen too much blood for one queen's pride. Elena rode among them cloaked in gray, her face half hidden. She had no throne here, no jewels, only the weight of her name. Rowan rode beside her, his beard unshaven, his eyes watchful. "They'll call this rebellion," he said. She shook her head. "No. This is memory fighting back." A scout galloped in from the ridge. "Riders from the capital, my lady, the Queen's men. They're hunting a ghost." Elena smiled faintly. "Then let the ghost answer." In the palace, Queen Catherine sat before her council, the chamber lit only by the hearth. Her skin looked paler now, her crown heavier. Lord Archer laid a map on the table. Red pins clustered along the northern border. "They gather under her banner, Majesty," he said. "She lives and the people know it." Catherine's hand trembled on the armrest. "They believe in stories because they can't afford truth." "Belief feeds armies," Archer replied. For a heartbeat, the Queen said nothing. Then she leaned forward. "Then we feed them fear. Tell every town that the river air burns what she touches. Turn her mercy into madness. When they see her, they'll see the ruin she brings." Archer hesitated. "And if they don't? Then I'll give them ruin myself." Night fell on the border camp. The soldiers huddled around the fire, sharpening blades and telling stories about the day the river lied. Elena listened quietly, her hands folded around a cup of broth. One man asked, "Will you take back the throne, my lady?" She stared into the flames. "A throne is only a seat carved from fear. I'll take back our name first." Rowan placed a hand on her shoulder. "They'll follow you anywhere." "They shouldn't," she said softly. "Following me will cost them everything." He smiled. "You forget. They've already lost it." The wind shifted then, carrying a sound from far away. Hooves. Many. Elena stood. "She's coming." By dawn, the Queen's army had reached the valley. Red banners rippled like open wounds. Catherine rode at the front, armor shining through mist, eyes hollow from sleepless nights. She looked out over the frozen field and saw across the river a smaller force waiting. Gray cloaks, makeshift banners, a single woman at their front. The Queen's breath caught. Even from a distance, she knew the shape of that face. "Elena," she whispered. Archer reined in beside her. "Your Majesty, we can still parley." "No," she said. "Not after everything." She spurred her horse forward, crossing the shallow ford before her generals could stop her. Mud splashed her gown. The cold bit into her bones. She rode until she was close enough to see her sister's eyes, clear, unyielding, the same color as the river. "You should have stayed dead," Catherine said. "And you should have stayed human," Elena replied. The words hung between them, sharp as blades. Catherine laughed, the sound brittle. "You think they'll crown you for pity? You think they'll love you when the fields are empty again?" "I don't need their love," Elena said. "Only their truth." Behind them, both armies waited, silent, breath visible in the cold. The river murmured between the lines, carrying the echo of every lie ever told in Aramor. Catherine dismounted slowly, drawing the dagger from her belt. "One crown, one blood," she said. "Let the gods decide which one of us they favor." Elena didn't move. "I've already chosen my gods," she answered. "They're the ones who starve when we feast." She dropped her cloak. Steel gleamed beneath, Rowan's sword in her hand. For a long moment, the sisters circled each other, mud freezing underfoot, the world holding its breath. Catherine struck first, fast and practiced, a blur of red and silver. Elena parried, the shock of impact numbing her arm. Blow met blow, sparks spraying across the ice. When Catherine's blade finally caught the edge of Elena's shoulder, blood bloomed against gray cloth. The queen smiled, triumphant. "You never did learn how to finish a fight." Elena's reply was quiet, almost tender. "No, but I learned how to end one." She stepped forward, let Catherine's momentum carry her off balance, and twisted the dagger from her hand. The blade clattered to the ground. For a second they stood chest to chest, breathing hard, eyes locked. "Look at what we became," Elena whispered. Catherine's hands trembled. "Sisters." "No," Elena said, tears in her eyes. "Mirrors." She turned her sword, driving it into the frozen earth instead of flesh. The sound broke the spell. Both armies exhaled. "I will not kill my blood," Elena said, "but I will end your reign." Behind her, Rowan raised the gray banner. The river guard moved forward, not with cheers, but with silence. Catherine stumbled back, staring at the line of faces lit by dawn. The crown on her head tilted and fell into the snow. High above them, the sun pierced the clouds for the first time in weeks. Rowan whispered, "It's over." Elena looked at the fallen crown. "No," she said softly, "it's only beginning."